Welcome to Protagonist Pub. My name is Tammy, and this is where characters gather. And today I'm doing a special book haul video. It's the Prime Day finds, and yeah. So surprisingly, I, who don't read a lot of nonfiction, picked up 5 nonfiction books this year. So we're going to do those first, and we're also going to first cover my planner. So this year I used the Ascension planner from Ascension Press. And as much as I love it, it is too big. It is just too big for me. So I'm going back to my Katie Daisy planner, which is obviously significantly smaller, and it's just beautiful. It's just beautiful, and it has a month, and here's a typical week. This happens to be the first full week of August next year. So it is a much better size for me. I do not need a big planner anymore, and there's the size differential. It is not insignificant, and I am very, very happy going back to the smaller planner. In fact, it is the size of my Kindle. So I loved my Ascension planner. If you need hourly planning and lots of space, it's a great planner, but it was too much for me. So let's do nonfiction. The rest of the nonfiction. First up would be Jane Austen's Genius Guide to Life on Love, Friendship, and Becoming the Person God Created You to Be by Haley Stewart. It's a beautiful cover. It's nice and thin. Not that I bought it because it was nice and thin, but it's nice that it's thin. It is 132 pages. It talks about characters. In fact, the text is not even that long. The text is 112 pages. And then there's study questions. And the chapters are very interesting. So the first chapter is The Life and World of an Underestimated Genius. Chapter 3 is Knightley Speaks Frankly. Chapter 6 is Catherine Learns to Read the World. And Chapter 8 is A Wedding Feast and a World Renewed. I just think it sounds delightful, and you may or may not be seeing this as a book club choice here shortly in the future. Next up is The Complete Guide to Middle-earth, Tolkien's World in the Lord of the Rings and Beyond by Robert Foster. This is the encyclopedia of all the characters and places in Lord of the Rings. Like it says, Harfoots, the most common of the 3 branches of the Hobbits. The Harfoots were the first hobbits to cross the Misty Mountains into Eredor, doing so about TA 1050. The Harfoots were the most typical hobbits. They were browner than the Stores and Followhides, and also smaller and shorter. They liked highlands and hillsides best, and kept the habit of living underground longer than the other strains. The Harfoots were friendlier with dwarves than other hobbits. And it gives a bunch of references. It talks about specific people. Sauron has pages in here. See if I can find it really fast. Saruman starts on page 433 and does not conclude until 439. So this will be very handy. I wish I had it when I listened to Lord of the Rings earlier this year, but I have it now. I'm going to reread it probably next year with this in mind and be very pleased. Next up is The Whispers of Mary by Gail Summers. What 12 Old Testament women teach us about Mary. And I think that is just a stunning cover. And I'll read you the back. What do Eve and Esther, Sarah and Hannah have in common? The holy women of the Old Testament lived in different eras and struggled in different ways, but many shared a God-given mission. They were types of Our Lady. God wove their stories into his great story of salvation in an amazing way as their lives pointed forward to the Mother of God. Yeah, I'm totally reading this. I love that it has questions at the end of every chapter and a place for you to journal your answers. Yeah, this is very high on my list. Okay, next up are the two books I said were, can't remember which video. Actually, it was my own video. I will link it down below. My original book tag, I believe. Nonfiction I'm looking forward to. And first one is The Lord of the Rings and Catholicism, exploring the Christian roots of the Lord of the Rings trilogy by Madeline Dabrowski. And again, I cannot wait to read this in conjunction with the book or the trilogy. The chapters are fascinating. A fundamentally religious and Catholic work, Christ figures, the nature of evil, spiritual warfare and temptation, authentic friendship, honor and glory, Our Lady, and Eucharista. So, this will be a very fascinating read for me. Okay, last nonfiction choice for me. And I cannot wait for this one as well. I'm saying that a lot, and I don't normally anticipate nonfiction. But yeah, I'm greatly anticipating these. Shakespeare's Sisters, How Women Wrote the Renaissance by Rami Targoff. Text is under 300 pages. It's a beautiful cover. There are pictures included. It is well documented in the back. Let's see. Yeah. I'm looking forward to this. Very much. So I will let you know how this is. Okay. That brings us to fiction. First up on fiction, we are going to talk about my rant. And it is a very big one. The middle book in this stack I'm about to show you is the one I just acquired. The other two books are the top book is the fourth book in the series, and the bottom book is the third book in the series. And you tell me if you would guess that they were related. There is no excuse from this. There is just no excuse for this, publishers. None. What series is this? This is the Nightbridge series by Ken Follett. Not exactly an obscure author, an obscure series, and not exactly one that isn't selling. So, books 1 through 3 are all this size. Trade paperback, good quality paper, good quality book, nice floppiness, no spine breakage, and, you know, they're nice big hunkers. You know, this is 1,014 pages. this is an appropriate size for a paperback of this length. Book 4, I got last year. I've been trying to read it all year. I still haven't picked it up. Is just over the size of a mass market paperback. Certainly not a trade paperback by any stretch. And it is 900 pages. And as soon as I start reading this, the spine is going to break. It doesn't flop. It's going to break. And it's not the size of the 3 previous books. So imagine my utter shock and dismay, and then incandescent rage when I ordered the 5th and the newest release book in the series, and I got it, and it was this size. And it is 735 pages. It also doesn't flop. It also has a spine that's going to break. It is printed all the way to the edge of the page in the interior. It is published by Pan Publishing. This one is published by Penguin. I do not understand. Well, that's not true. I do understand. It's a money grab because eventually they're going to come out with all the books in the series that all match, that are all the same size, all have similar covers, instead of this nonsense, which is supposed to somehow abut next to this and look, you know, proper on my shelves. Oh, wait, they're out of order, so that doesn't even make sense. Incandescent with rage. It is a money grab by publishers. There is no excuse. There is no justification. And yeah. Okay. Moving on. I picked up a copy of Little Women. And this is the complete novel featuring characters' letters, manuscripts, written and folded by hand. It is obviously by Louisa May Alcott and curated by Barbara Heller. Here is the cover. It is gorgeous. And it opens very nicely. I will tell you that some of the pages are very sticky. I will show you one of the things in here. Ooh, okay. Just stay open on that page so I know where to put this back at. And this is an example of what is inside. I don't know if you can see this very well, but it is a handwritten letter. And this one is to Madison from I can't read that name. So, and it is filled with these kind of things. They're, you know, mementos, and it is, and this is the reason I bought it. Here's another one from the same packet. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this, but I plan to get to it and read all the lovely little things in the envelopes and enjoy the experience. The print itself is very tiny, but beautifully done. And I know that there is a similar, not similar, it's identical, except for Pride and Prejudice. So, yeah, I am interested. I'm very, very, very interested. So we shall see. Okay. What next? Okay. This is book number 5 in The Expanse, which leaves me books 6, 7, and 8 to purchase. That is Nemesis Games by James S.A. Corey. As you know, I read book 1 this year. I need to flesh out the rest of the series so that I can have it on my shelves and be ready to binge read it. Okay. And then I'm reading this in December for sure. That is Giver of Wonders by Rosanna M. White. This was in all the books that didn't make it into the July poll video. I will link that down below. I cannot wait to dive into this book. I am very interested in this book. Obviously, I wouldn't have bought it. Next up is The Oyster Catcher of Southwark by Eric Colohan. I have not read anything by this author. I will read you the back because it sounds very interesting. Philadelphia, 1897. On the shores of the Delaware River, Italian Catholic Mary Parango dreams of happily ever after. However, when she defies her family and runs away to marry Jacob, a Jewish boy, her fairy tale takes an unexpected turn. Disowned by her father, abandoned by Jacob, and pursued by a jealous gangster, Mary's life spirals into tragedy, culminating in accusations of attempting to harm her own children and a harrowing end in an asylum. Philadelphia, present day. Bella, Mary's great-great-granddaughter, grapples with the aftermath of her recent divorce. Amidst her pain, a mysterious stranger named Sophie enters her life, claiming to be related to Jacob, the man who left Mary to her devastating fate over a century ago. Together, Bella and Sophie unravel the layers of Mary's haunting past, question the stories they've been told, and uncover the impact of these historical secrets on their modern-day lives. Based on the remarkable true story of the author's great-great-grandmother, The Oyster Catcher of Southwark takes readers on a poignant journey through the immigrant neighborhoods of South Philadelphia. This deftly woven novel explores the profound love of a mother for her children and the redemptive hope that transcends time. I think it sounds fabulous and fascinating, and I cannot wait. All right. Okay, that brings us to American Duchess by Karen Harper. This is the story of Consuela Vanderbilt. Karen Harper is a fantastic author. One of the best historical fiction books that exists is sitting in my bookcase over there. That is The Queen's Governess. I cannot say enough good things about that book. I will always recommend that book. I am looking forward to this one immensely. I'll read you a bit of the back. On a cold November day in 1895, a carriage approaches St. Thomas Episcopal Church on New York City's Fifth Avenue. Massive crowds surge forward, awaiting their glimpse of heiress Consuela Vanderbilt. Just 18, the beautiful bride has arrived not only late, but in tears. Yet her marriage to the aloof 9th Duke of Marlborough proceeds. Consuela, bullied into the wedding by her indomitable mother Alva, loves another. But a deal was made, trading Vanderbilt wealth for title and prestige. And Consuela was bred to obey. At Blenheim Palace, Consuela is confronted with an overwhelming list of duties, including producing an heir and a spare. But her marriage is a sham. Consuelo finds inner strength, charming everyone from debutantes to diplomats, including Winston Churchill, as she fights for women's rights. It's a beautiful cover. She writes beautifully. I can't wait. Next up is a new to me author. It was on sale. That is An Indiscreet Princess by Georgie Ballock. And before Princess Margaret before Duchess Megan, there was Princess Louise, royal rebel. As the fourth daughter of the perpetually in mourning Queen Victoria, Princess Louise's life is more a gilded prison than a fairy tale. Expected to sit quietly next to her mother with downcast eyes, Louise vows to escape the stultifying royal court. Blessed with beauty, artistic talent, and a common touch, she creates a life outside of the walled-in existence of the palace grounds by attending the National Art Training School, where she shockingly learns to sculpt nude models while falling passionately in love with famed sculptor Joseph Edgar Boehm. But as Louise cultivates a life outside the palace, she is constantly reminded that even royal rebels must heed the call of duty. And for a princess, that means marriage. Refusing to leave England, she agrees to a match with the Duke of Argyll. Although her heart belongs to another, she is determined to act out her public role perfectly, even if her private life teeters on the brink of scandal. When a near-fatal accident forces Louise back under her mother's iron rule, she realizes she must choose: give in to the grief of lost love, or find the strength to fight for her unconventional life. I am fascinated. I want to read this. Obviously, it landed in my cart. So, yeah, we shall see. Next up is a book I also talked about in the books that didn't make it in for the July poll. That is Always in December by Emily Stone. I know this is the first book in the series. I can imagine this is going to show up on my December pile of possibilities. So she is a new to me author. Don't know. We shall see. Next up, another one that was on sale that I've wanted to read for a while is An American Beauty by Shannon Abe. And I'll read you the top blurb on the back. Spanning New York's opulent Gilded Age and inspired by one of the most charismatic, complex, and forward-thinking women of her time, this sweeping tale tells the astonishing story of Arabella Huntington, who defied both her origins and the constraints of the era to become the wealthiest woman in America. I need to know. I need to know. Okay. Woo-hoo-hoo. Next up is book 2 in the Houses of Yorkshire by Sarah Elad, Holly Thornhouse. I know book 3 is about to release. I may or may not delay this until I have book 3. The first book is Letters from Briarton Park, which I absolutely loved. It made me fall in love with Sarah Ladd's writing, and it is phenomenal. Okay, last up is the box set. It's out of the box because, as you know, I don't keep the boxes. And I'm not sure if this is her entire backlist, but Brutus Petty's. So, this is Out of the Easy. This one is set in New Orleans. Oh, this is Between Shades of Grey. I believe this is Lithuania. Yep, this is Lithuania. Not sure where this one is. I think this is Lithuania too. I'm not sure where this one is set. That is Salt to the Sea. And the one I am most excited about, Fountains of Silence. This is the Spanish Civil War. You know, I fell in love with her as an author in June of this year. I think I own her entire catalog at this point. And she is not a bi author for me now. unless one of those 4 books changes my mind, which I would be shocked. I cannot wait to dive into them. So, yeah, that is my Prime Day haul. And I am blessed with a husband who, you know, makes sure he budgets for books for Prime Day. And I love him very much for that. And if you want to read any of these with me, let me know. Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe. And I will see you here next time at the Protagonist Pub.